Hey, I'm Olivia,
And hey, I'm Dad.
and you're listening to Soarin' Around WDW. Welcome back, Flight Crew. I am so excited for this episode, and part of the reason for that excitement is that we have a very special guest. My stepmom, Doreen, is here today to join Dad and I. So, welcome, Doreen, to the podcast.
Thank you, Olivia. I'm glad to join my favorite podcast today.
Yes, we appreciate all of your support of the podcast. Doreen is a huge podcast supporter, and so we really do love that. It's so fun. I got to give Maddie a harder time to get on the bandwagon of the podcast support, but yeah, good. Well, I'm glad to have you. Today, we are going to get into one of her favorite offerings at the Disney parks, but first, we want you all to get to know her a little bit. So I wanted to start off by asking a few questions about how Disney was really integrated into your life growing up. Did you get to go to the parks in your younger years and all of that? But before we get into Walt Disney World, you got to go to something that many of our listeners are going to be insanely jealous of. As a very young girl, you got to attend the 1964-1965 World's Fair. Now, I know you were really little, but do you have any memories of that?
I do. I was obviously little, I was probably 5 years old. And I think my biggest memory was the Brontosaurus that was there.
Oh,
I'd never seen anything like that before. And of course, I'm only five, but I mean, it was just huge and its movement. I remember my father being there and he had some change in his pocket. And every time he wiggled his change in his pocket, the dinosaur moved. And I just made this correlation that, hey, not only is this a ginormous dinosaur, but my dad seems to have some kind of, telepathy with this thing. And I just never forgot. I could probably draw, the dinosaur today
wow.
based on what I saw that and experienced that day. So pretty neat.
That was a brontosaurus that was on the Ford's Magic Skyway. And that brontosaurus is over at Disneyland now
Yeah.
Okay, I
on
think I
the
might have
train
video
ride.
footage
The
of it.
diorama where the train goes through, that's the
Yep.
brontosaurus from the one she saw all those years ago.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, we just did that train ride to see it because I hadn't done it the first two times at Disneyland. And then this last trip, I said to Maddie, we have to ride the train so we can see the dinosaurs from Ford Skyway. So we did. And it is so, yeah, it's crazy that those animatronics existed in the early 60s. That high tech, they just seem like pretty advanced for the time. It's super, super cool. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
cool. That's awesome.
I had a second memory there was It's a Small World.
Ah,
Unfortunately,
yes.
I cried the whole way. So I probably spoiled quite a number of people's, I guess, memory of that. But I was told that I cried the entire time. So I remember that. I can't tell you why I felt that way, but
Yeah, I
I
was gonna
just
say,
cried
were
the
you
whole
scared
time.
of the dolls or like
I
just
it might
tired
it
or
might have been so much stimulation, like who knows? Who
yeah,
knows? My mom just said I cried the whole time.
that's so funny. Did you ever get to do Carousel of Progress while it was there?
I don't remember that. I know it was there. At least
Yeah.
portions of it may have been there. So if my memory is, you ever have a memory where you think you remember that, but you're not sure because you
Yeah.
have other memories of it and it's later in life. So I know they were there. I don't know if it was just one vignette, but I don't remember it really.
Okay. Okay. So the dinosaur and It's a Small World being a sad time, sadly, but I'm glad the dinosaur
Yeah.
was a good memory and not a sad
Hmm.
memory. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Good. And remind me, have you ever been to Disneyland?
I did. I went to Disney World Land when I was about 14.
Okay. Okay.
My favorite ride there was Dumbo. It was a long line.
Yeah.
But that's what I remember. I don't know why Dumbo, but it just was my favorite ride.
Okay. So what year did you actually move from New York to Florida?
Uh, 1973,
Okay.
pretty sure 73.
So you were like middle school age.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
going into probably eighth grade. Yeah,
Okay. So when was your first trip to Disney World?
a year later, I guess, or maybe even the same year. Oh, Disney World. I'm thinking of out in
Land.
California. My first trip to Disney World was 1976.
You rode Space Mountain,
I
right?
rode Space Mountain. Yep, I
Yeah. So
did.
what
And
do
I
you
remember
remember? about Space, because it's funny, Maddie's first memory of Space Mountain was horrible, but he was pretty little. So did you like it, or were you like,
Oh
this is
yeah.
okay,
I was in high school, so I'm
good
16,
age? Yeah.
and friends came down. We all came down here. It was a thing to do, and Space Mountain was it. I mean, we rode that. I probably rode that at least 3 times, per
Wow.
trip. And it's not like I had been there like you guys. You had passes, so
Yeah.
we just didn't come that frequently. But I do remember coming down at least once every, maybe twice, maybe every summer after age 16, and mostly with friends because I'm an older teen. I'm actually driving at 16. So, but Space Mountain that was all the rage.
And that
Okay.
just opened in 1975. So right before, that
Yeah.
was the year before. That was the big first
Mhm.
indoor roller coaster in the world, which was super
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. Okay, cool. And do you remember anything else from your first visit to Disney World that like stuck out to you besides Space Mountain?
All the things that would, probably stick out to a 7 or 8 or 9 year old. I just loved Disney in general. I loved all the Disney movies. I mean, you name it. I loved it. I just, I wasn't here until I was age, till a young teen. And so seeing the characters, I just loved that. And so when I had kids and when I came with you, and your dad, I loved it all over again because I really just always saw it through eyes of a child. I don't think you have to be, 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 to enjoy it. I mean, as an adult, or even a young teen, I enjoyed everything that was for the well under 10 and under. It was just special.
Yeah, it is special. We still enjoy everything for 10 and under, so even now.
Yeah, well, I love the Peter Pan ride then, and I remember that being a favorite. Of course, Space Mountain was like high tech at the time.
Yeah.
And but I loved all of it. Mickey walked by. I was just as enamored as a little kid.
Yeah. So you went to Disneyland first then before Disney World. Is that right? I'm
Um,
trying to do
Oh,
math here.
yeah, that's probably
yes,
right.
yes, because I went with my family. It was a trip out to California.
They flew out. It wasn't a truck. You flew out.
We flew out,
Yes.
right. We were there for a couple of weeks. I was in San Diego and a couple of other places in California. And of course, Disneyland was the height of the trip for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was no Disney World in my world yet. So
Cool. Yeah. And I mean, at that point, Disney World was even still pretty new. So awesome. So when your kids were little, did you ever get to take them? How often did you guys go? Because I mean, you lived pretty close being in, the Valrico Brandon area. How often did you guys get to go when they were younger?
well, I'll tell you, I always wanted to get passes for Disney, but when they were competing for with Universal Studios, and Universal Studios just had that $99 special.
Yeah.
My kids loved everything that was there. And so, as a single mom, it just made really good sense. I could get that Universal Studios pass and really have a good time. I remember taking them. I took David when he was young, probably too young. We went with his other grandma and aunt and a couple of cousins. And David was like 2 or 3. I must have been pregnant with Megan at the time.
Hmm.
And I know I had gone there when they were younger, probably with my mom as a gift kind of thing. But that's kind of how it stayed. But the passes and going every summer or something like that really wasn't a thing until maybe might have been another decade, at least for
Yeah.
us. And so again, I just wound up taking them to Universal Studios. That would not have been my choice. I would have gone to Disney in a heartbeat. But
Yeah.
I think Disney at the time, the number $300 and something would compared to the 99. I was able to, plus buying food and everything and all that. Parking was always a little bit more than Universal. That's what I remembered. So
Yeah.
it was Universal for us.
Yeah, I get that. When college, I remember Maddie and I had universal passes, and even when we were in college, the passes were like $120 for the year. So it was way more affordable than our Disney annual pass that we ended up getting. I think when we got our Disney annual pass 2 years after having Universal, it was like $500 a year. So it
Wow.
was expensive even
Yeah.
then. Even then. I
Yeah.
mean, now they're insanely expensive, but it was so expensive then as a Florida resident. You guys have been married now over 20 years and recently had your anniversary in early April. So happy belated anniversary.
Thank you.
This might be another one that's hard to remember because it's been so long, but I've always wondered, did my dad reveal his Disney obsession early on when you guys started dating? How early did you start to notice like, huh, this guy really loves Disney?
I don't know, honestly, how much of a reveal he had to do
Okay.
because it was pretty obvious to me. It must have come up in many conversations. I remember your dad doing. He would always make me laugh. So he had, he did his goofy impression, which I know you know, and he did all these Hanna-Barbera cartoons, and so
Oh yeah.
he just would interject things about Disney when he in conversations, just playfully and so forth. And I always loved Disney. And so I knew pretty early on. In fact, we had gone to Disney about 3 times, maybe before we married. So
All of that,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
all of that, maybe more than.
And she knew I was a Disney fan when she walked into Regan's bedroom. That was the den, remember, with all the attraction posters
Oh
all
yeah.
around.
True.
So it was kind of a giveaway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it revealed itself quickly, but very evidently as we went along. And I just was always, I always just loved that. I thought that was just a charming quality. So
Okay.
a kid,
Yeah.
he was like a little kid, and so and a big handsome hunk,
Yeah.
and I like that because me, I like kids, and it was a neat thing to discover.
Yeah, and I think we went for Halloween before you guys got married, and then obviously we went after that many times as well, which we'll talk about too. But okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to remember how much we went and if you guys went, I'm sure, without us too. So that's fun. So Dad, I want you to tell the story about your wedding day Disney trip because I think this is something that is so unique and fun. So share on your wedding day what you decided to do.
Well, definitely unique. And we had fun. I don't know how much my bride to be was too excited about it if she knew that we were escaping out the back door. But it was a Saturday wedding in April. And down here in Florida, the weather time of year, the weather's beautiful. And our wedding and reception wasn't until 6 p.m. at night. So I'm up, 6:30 in the morning, and I start thinking, what are we going to do for all this time? Well, I woke Regan up and I dragged David out of bed. David was at that age, and David was 20. Regan was probably 10. And I said, why don't we go over to the Magic Kingdom for the day, or as long as we can, till we can turn around, come back maybe around 3, 4 o'clock, get changed, and I'll get married. And David, I didn't know if he'd go, but he was up for it. He's like, yeah, let's go do that. So we climbed in the car, about an hour to Disney, right from the Rico area,
Yeah.
roughly. Went to the Magic Kingdom, jumped on a bunch of rides, ate at the Liberty Tree Tavern. We ate
Oh, you
well.
did? I
Oh,
didn't remember
yeah.
that. Oh, that's
They
funny.
had a blast, and you had Bridezilla.
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember that. I don't remember you
I'm
being
teasing.
Bridezilla at all.
But yeah, so we ate at Liberty Tree, and because I knew, at a wedding reception, especially when you're the bride and groom, everyone's talking to you. You don't really eat a whole lot, right? I mean, the
Right.
food's really yummy, but everyone else is eating a lot of food and you're not. So we ate heartily at the Liberty Tree. Went on a few more attractions. I'm sure we went on Haunted Mansion and Pirates and all, Space Mountain. Probably did all that stuff. I don't remember exactly. And we climbed in the car about 3 o'clock and burned it back and changed, showered, changed, and walked down the aisle. It was all good.
Yeah, that's so funny. Do you remember him going, Doreen, or did you
No,
not find
I
about
didn't. I
that
didn't
until
know that they
after?
had gone until after.
We didn't tell anybody. We said we'll be back a little later, and a little later was about 7 hours later. We were back.
I am not surprised by that, especially because we lived so close. Like, it's not like you're driving hours to Disney or whatever, it was all very close by. So that's so fun. I did not know that about Liberty Tree, though. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. So once you officially joined our crazy Disney obsessed family, we went a lot in the early 2000s. So I specifically remember, as I mentioned, our yearly Halloween trips. So share some memories, Doreen, of Mickey's Not So Scary and your thoughts on it in the beginning and kind of how it evolved over time, because obviously it was something you guys really loved.
I did, and that was the first time I'd ever gone. So I'd never been to that before. And I found it, I mean, I thought that was the best time to go to Disney. I mean, I don't think I had had a better time and got on more rides and just had this neat experience, with, just being dressed, all you kids dressed up. Well, I think we dressed up. Did we dress up?
Oh, we did eventually, but I think in the first couple of years, we just let them dress up, and
Candy was great.
and the weather was great.
And you could get on the rides and you didn't have these long lines and it was closed to other people. So it was this kind of exclusive kind of experience. And that the parade, I was just blown away by the not so scary parade. I thought that was the best thing. And I just thought, oh my gosh, this is like the best of Disney. And I've just never seen this side of it.
And the fireworks were amazing.
And the special fireworks. And of course, it was extremely memorable for me because, I think you were 12, Regan. I thought Regan was 8 going on 9. But
somewhere in there. Yeah, 9. He might have just turned 9, I think.
Mm-hmm. And so, that was just a really neat thing to share with you guys. We're there for, a number of hours, obviously. And it was just super special. So I really special all around.
Do we need to sing the Boo to You song? Boo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We could probably sing it in our sleep.
That for 3 days.
Happy Halloween. Yeah.
Oh,
and then when Michaela was born, obviously your oldest granddaughter, you guys took her quite a bit too. So how did it feel getting to go with her, like seeing it through a very little one's eyes?
Well, that was extremely, special. And I'm looking at a picture that we had taken on one of the trips. I had David, Megan, my 2 children, my mom had gone. Everyone was dressed up like pirates. Your dad, as you know, built a very custom, unique pirate, what's it, the Black Pearl?
Pirate ship stroller.
And for Michaela.
Very elaborate.
Wasn't it over the Bob stroller that we had?
No, it was over a regular stroller. Yeah, spent 3 weeks.
People stopped us and thought we were part of a Disney, planned crew or paid crew, and they just wanted to take their picture with us. I mean, that's how great that pirate ship looked, and we all had some really neat costumes. So that was just a neat time as well. And obviously, Michaela's in the little ship there. When I tell you people wanted to take photos with us, would you say at least 10 to 15?
Oh, easy.
At least that many would stop us.
Oh, yeah. I posted that as one of our throwback pictures during Halloween time. So, yeah, that's such a fun one. So
we've done that a number of times. But, I think that's between being there with you and Regan and then Macaulay, those are by far the best times at Disney I ever had.
Yes, so fun. It is so special. And now, me obviously with the girls getting to watch it through them. And so you've been like obviously with your kids, with us, with Michaela, now with Eiley and Blake as well. The last couple of years we've gotten to go. And baby Everly is the little one now. So she's going to start going on trips too. And I mean, it's just so special. So just getting to revisit things. I think that's what we talked about, Dad and I, on our recap episode from the day at Hollywood Studios, is things I saw with you guys as a kid or Regan as a kid, and now getting to do it with Michaela and Eiley and Blake. It's just like such a special thing. So is there anything that really stands out to you getting to repeat with the grandkids?
I definitely connected with Blakeland. I took her on some rides and carried her, and she was just like, she's with Grandpa, and she was just a trooper. And for me, I just really connected with Blake. Even at EPCOT when she was really little, I'd better taken her on Living with the Land, and she didn't. She was just like, we're 2 peas in a pod. Perfect analogy for Living with the Land, right?
Yeah, there you go.
But and Doreen, right? You connected with Eiley.
Yeah, I mean that was, I really buddied up with Eiley. I mean, she's the oldest, obviously, and it's easy to gravitate toward. And I'm doing a lot of the rides with her, and that just was really super special for me. And I know when we were watching Beauty and the Beast, I mean, I got teary eyed there. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a dork. Just kind of, crying.
Yeah. We all were
because
emotional.
I was there with you. There, and that was just super, super special. I had Michaela. She was quite young, obviously, and now here we are with with Eiley and Blakeland and you. And I just couldn't. I had a hard time holding the tears back, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
So, it seems like to me, whether you like it or not, Disney has a way of shining a light on, you know, I guess your life's perspectives, and it just family's everything.
I know what's
And
important.
it just has a way of searing that memory,
Right.
into the front of your brain, and it's like a picture that stays there. It just has that X factor in being able to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And yes, Beauty and the Beast was a very, very special but emotional experience for sure. And I'm sure Fantasmic, I had talked about this on our episode, would have been if Eiley didn't get sick and the person didn't stand up right in front of us at the end. But that is always like, just thinking about watching that as a little kid with you guys and then going now with my kids. It's just like mind blowing sometimes. But yeah, so fun. Okay, so we are going to get into more of your favorite Disney things here at the end. But I know one thing you absolutely love in general is music. So it's no surprise that the EPCOT offerings for concerts are something both of you guys have really loved over the years. But I actually don't know your answer, Doreen. What is your favorite festival at EPCOT? Between like Flower and Garden, the Festival of the Arts, and the Food and Wine, and Festival of the Holidays. Is there one that you really prefer?
For me, it's going to be hands down the Flower and Garden Festival.
Yeah, I think all
Yeah.
three of us are on the same page with that one, right? Dad, that's your favorite. That's
Yeah,
my favorite too.
that's always been my favorite. Yeah, hands down.
It's hard to top all the
So beautiful.
topiaries,
So
and,
beautiful.
the tulip gardens and all. It just comes alive. It's just that was a neat experience, and the weather's just picture perfect. It's the best time to be in Florida. So
definitely a great time of year to go to the parks for sure. So today, that's perfect answer because we are going to talk about the Flower and Garden Festival. And this was not a trick, you guys. That really is her favorite festival. So this was not
yes,
a
it is.
planned answer. So since it is currently going on right now and has great music offerings and has for many years, many of which you all have gotten to see and really enjoyed, especially back in the pass holder years when it was easy for you guys to kind of pop over for a concert and go back home or do like a weekend trip. Let's get right into it. So spring has officially sprung over at EPCOT, and the 2026 International Flower and Garden Festival is in full bloom. This year, the festival is running from March 4th through June 1st, 2026. So it runs for about 89-ish days. So that's a lot. So how do you guys feel about it being so long? Is it too long? Is it just right? What do you think about the length of the festival?
It really shows the popularity and how it's grown. And so a lot of times they just like the Halloween party, they had to string it out longer. And that's kind of when spring is in Florida, March to June 1st, that's spring. So, bring it on. That's just the way I feel about it.
Right around June 1st, it starts to get
hot.
Of course, people don't matter. They're in the other parks, 24/7 on all the other days of the year. So, but I think ending on June 1st would be a good idea so it's a pretty hot park actually in terms of weather.
Yeah. Definitely not a ton of shade. You have to kind of go inside if you want coolness in that park for sure. So I was lucky enough to attend the festival the first weekend it opened this year on Saturday, March 7th. And although the day ended up a little differently than we had originally planned due to Maddie and Eiley both not feeling 100%, it's still just such a beautiful festival and my favorite for sure. If you have not ever had the pleasure of attending, you can picture this strolling through the vibrant gardens and whimsical topiaries featuring some of your favorite characters. You can savor over 75 new and returning menu items at more than 20 of the outdoor kitchens and letting the world-renowned musical acts fill the air at the Garden Rocks concert series. Whether you're there for the flavors, the flowers, or the live music, there really is something for every festival goer to enjoy.
Of course, we wouldn't be us if we did not start off with some history about this festival. So let's dive into that first before we talk more about this year's festival offerings. Often referred to as a festival park, EPCOT hosts 4 major seasonal celebrations each year: the International Festival of the Arts, which debuted in 2017, the International Flower and Garden Festival, and the International Food and Wine Festival, and the International Festival of the Holidays. Among these, the EPCOT International Flower and Garden Festival has become a hallmark of spring at Walt Disney World, but its beginnings were far more modest. The festival first debuted in 1994 as a 38-day event running from April 29th through June 5th. So that was much shorter.
Mhm.
Originally sponsored by Better Homes and Gardens, makes sense. It focused heavily on horticultural education, offering workshops and classes that taught guests about gardening techniques and landscaping. At the time, the event consisted primarily of simple floral displays and a small number of Disney character topiaries, far fewer than the elaborate installations seen today.
Despite its simplicity, the festival quickly drew visitors from around the world, captivated by the intricate gardens and thoughtful design. Building on that success, the 1995 festival introduced a feature that would become an enduring favorite, the EPCOT Garden Railway. Located in the Germany Pavilion, this miniature train and town display blended the detailed architecture with lush landscaping, and its popularity cemented it as a permanent part of the festival experience. In its early years, the festival also included a live music component known as the Flower Power Concert Series. Though its exact debut is kind of unclear, it was hard for me to find an exact year this started. It became a recognizable part of the event before eventually being reimagined to what it's called now, the Garden Rocks Concert Series, and that name change happened in 2015.
And for many years, the festival remained centered on gardens and topiaries, gradually expanding in scope. However, a major transformation occurred in 2015 when the event began to take on a more modern, large-scale identity. That year introduced a wide array of new Disney and Pixar character topiaries, including Anna and Elsa, Woody and Buzz, along with a debut of the Garden Rocks concert series and the addition of a butterfly garden. I do remember the butterfly garden, going in there a few times. That was super cool.
Yeah, very cool.
The years that followed brought steady growth in both creativity and scale. 2016, new topiaries included Huey, Dewey, and Louie, plus themed gardens and play areas. 2017, Figment topiary. Hey, Figment for Olivia.
Yes.
And redesigned garden spaces in 2019. Expanded concerts and Toy Story 4 displays. The festival did pause in 2020, the whole world did, due to COVID-19 pandemic, but returned in 2021. In 2022, Snow White, the Seven Dwarfs, and characters from Beauty and the Beast. 2023, Encanto characters and Princess Tiana. 2024 editions from Wish, Coco, and Groot. 2025, Moana themed displays, much to your kids' thrill, right?
Oh, yes.
2026, updated Toy Story entrance display featuring Buzz Lightyear, Woody, Bo Peep, and Lotso.
So, a significant evolution came during the festival's 20th anniversary, which was in 2013-ish, when food became a central part of the experience with the introduction of outdoor kitchens, originally called the garden marketplaces. These booths offered seasonal garden-inspired dishes and were paired with festival farms, planter beds throughout the park that grew the ingredients used in the menus. This garden-to-table concept aimed to connect guests more directly with the origins of their food, a vision championed by then EPCOT executive chef Jens Dahlman. Today, these outdoor kitchens are a cornerstone of the festival, offering a wide variety of exclusive food and beverage options. So, do you guys feel like the addition of these outdoor kitchens or huge food menus have taken away from the purpose of Flower and Garden, or just kind of enhanced it even more?
We haven't really experienced those kitchens since we haven't been back there in a little while for the Flower and Garden Festival. But the way I see it, if it makes money for Disney, sorry, Disney, they're probably making money doing that. That's why they brought them in. And maybe there's so many people there, not everybody can, get into the restaurants. A lot of them are booked up, right? So to have little food areas along the way, they probably learned that from the Food and Wine Festival. Probably makes sense. So,
And being a foodie, I would probably be very positive about that, especially for some of the Disney food. I think Epcot has some of the better food.
Yeah.
It's just me. So if they've enhanced the food options, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely got its, idea, like you said, Dad, from Food and Wine being so successful. They're like, okay, this works. Let's put in some garden infused things and call it a food booth and whatever. But yeah, it's definitely, when we were there, it was pretty amazing how many. I mean, I think it said 20 different little kitchen things. They were everywhere. The one complaint that comes year after year is there's not space to eat the food once you buy it. So you're like eating on top of a trash can.
Garbage cans,
yeah.
Right? That's what we ended up doing that. A couple remember like, oh, let's eat on top of the garbage can. How lovely.
Yeah, yeah. So they do need to figure that out or add some more seating or high top tables or things like that, which high top tables are then hard for kids. So, but yeah, just they need to fix that a little bit more. They've done a little bit better of a job the last few years, but yeah. So Disney also expanded the festival's reach by engaging audiences online, sharing behind-the-scenes looks at topiary installations and park transformations leading up to each event. By 2023, the festival evolved into a fully immersive experience featuring interactive exhibits like Blooms of Fragrance presented by Scentsy, which offered a sensory journey through scent and nature.
Not at all, the beloved orange bird mascot, and that started way back in 1971 at the Magic Kingdom. So that goes way back. I remember that when I was a kid. Has remained a cheerful symbol of the festival, welcoming guests each spring. What began as a small educational garden showcase has grown into one of EPCOT's most celebrated events, blending horticulture, entertainment, and culinary creativity into a vibrant seasonal tradition. Finally, the festival's success also helped influence the evolution of another EPCOT favorite. Although the EPCOT International Food and Wine Festival originated in 1981, the Walt Disney World Village Wine Festival at Disney Springs, it was the popularity of the Flowery Garden that led it to move it to EPCOT in 1996, where it grew into global culinary celebration it is today. I didn't know that. I didn't know it started somewhere downtown Disney, basically, right?
Yeah.
And then moved there in 96. I never knew that.
Yeah, that's what I read. So people fact check me, but I was like, "Oh, that's super interesting. I did not know that either, but it makes sense and just grew so much with time." So some of the highlights from this year's menus include the Shaba beef bao bun at the Lon Juan, the blackened shrimp po' boy at Magnolia Terrace, and the ever popular returning favorites like the frushi at Hanami and the frozen desert violet lemonade at Pineapple Promenade, which that lemonade actually is, if people haven't seen it, it's like this bright neon purple drink that's like looks like a slushie. It looks so good, and that's one thing I'm really sad I missed out on. But for the breakfast lovers, they have this new French toast with cinnamon cereal and caramel sauce at EPCOT, a very sweet twist. And that's something that's over by Test Track. We walked past it and the line was so long, but I was like, that looks delicious. If you're plant-based, then don't miss out on the potato pancakes with the house-made applesauce at the Bowen Market Farmers Market. So for kids, there are some sweet bites to enjoy as well. Not everything is way too out of the realm of kids to enjoy. Favorites include the Florida strawberry shortcake made with vanilla pound cake, fresh Driscoll's strawberries, strawberry sauce, and whipped cream with some crunchy strawberry crumbs. And new this year is the Tanghulu, which is a fun skewer of like strawberries and grapes coated in candied sugar syrup. So for those who like to sip as they stroll, there's no shortage of refreshing drinks. The frozen desert violet lemonade, which is made with Minute Maid premium lemonade and desert pear with violet syrups, is a must try. Like I said, it's a non-alcoholic option. Sadly, again, this was one I wanted to try but didn't get the chance to. And there are over 75 new food items at this year's festival, along with several new festival beverages.
Want to go cash-free while exploring? Pick up a festival-themed Disney gift card wristlet. They come in two cheerful floral designs featuring Spike the Bee or Orange Bird on a cute watering can shape. With a minimum activation of $15, you can easily pay for eats, drinks, and even festival merchandise without fumbling for your cash. A quick tip, not all items are available for the full festival, so be sure to check the official app or website for availability and locations and to help visitors navigate the event. The Festival Passport is available both physically and digitally through the My Disney Experience app. This guide allows guests to locate outdoor kitchens, track their food experiences, and access important festival information. It also includes QR codes linking to allergy-friendly menus, which list options for guests with dietary restrictions such as gluten, dairy, nuts, and more. While Disney takes precautions to minimize cross-contact, they note that dedicated allergy-free kitchens are not available.
Yeah, so all just good things to note. And the outdoor kitchens are located throughout Epcot, especially around the World Showcase Lagoon and Promenade. In 2026, the festival features over 20 food booths, including an edition called Nectar. These booths operate from 11:30 to 8:30 p.m., 11:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m., Tuesday through Thursday, and 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Friday through Monday. One of the festival's most popular culinary activities is the Garden Graze, a plant-based food crawl similar to the cookie stroll offered during Festival of the Holidays, where guests can choose any 5 qualifying menu items, collect stamps in their festival passport, and redeem a prize upon completion. And this Garden Graze menu includes things like a poke bowl, there's this coconut panna cotta, there's a grilled street corn, avocado toast, plant-based pork lumpia, lemon tart, chocolate coconut flan, potato pancakes, and a seasonal fruit parfait.
You had me at the cookie crawl.
Yeah,
Man, I'm up for that. Let's like, my wife and I have to go do that. My wife's probably not gonna eat very many cookies, but that sounds really good for me.
that sounds up your alley for sure. I feel like the
Yeah, yeah, that
Garden
sounds
Graze
like
is
fun.
more
And
Doreen's
holidays too,
alley.
Christmas holidays and a cookie crawl. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
guests who complete the garden graze can redeem their prize at Pineapple Promenade, which in 2026 includes a Dole Whip, which is a pineapple and a plant-based vanilla swirl, served in a themed cup along with a wildflower seed packet.
So I feel like this prize is lame-o. It's like, what? That's what you get as your prize is some Dole Whip and some seeds? I thought that was so weird. I made up better ideas for our Would You Rather later, but what do you guys think would be a better prize, even if it's not like monetarily super expensive, but what could be something better? I mean, they got to do better than a Dole Whip. That is so
I don't
sad.
know. Getting that wildflower seed packet, man, that's killer. I want that, man. No, I'm kidding. I thought maybe a voucher, just a little voucher, so you could purchase some flowers or a small plant at a local Home Depot or something like that, right?
Oh,
It's a,
yeah.
it's a flower and garden festival. Give you something where you can redeem it somewhere to get something that you can plant in your garden in front of your house or in a pot somewhere, versus a Dole Whip. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, what about you,
Good
Doreen? Any
idea.
ideas?
No, I think that's a good idea because it's all about,
Flower and gardens, right?
yep, growing your own food and maybe something like that, something that where you can actually take seeds home, a little mini kit where a kid can kind of watch a seed grow or something.
Like tomato plants or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of just a packet of seeds because sadly, I don't know how many parents are going to maybe find the time by the time you get home. Where's that packet? I
Yeah.
don't know. So, but if it had something kind of, maybe that's too pricey though. I don't know. But something small where it comes with the dirt, you put it all together, the kids have fun with it. There's a seed in there, you stick it on the windowsill, it germinates. That might be something. But actually, I think his voucher idea with them linking up to Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. So, that would be a
Yeah, and
good
then
promo.
Disney wouldn't have to pay for it. They could get
Right.
sponsored by them, and there you go.
Yeah.
That's a good
And a
idea.
couple and a couple other thoughts that might be great gifts. Maybe a chia pet, or maybe an ant farm.
Of an
That
ant
kind of
farm.
that kind of stays there.
A Mickey Ears ant farm.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of that I'm like I would actually want to keep is like a pin, just even a small little like
There you go.
Yeah.
2026 Flower and Garden Festival. Like doesn't have to be
Yes.
as nice as the
Yes.
nice pins, but something like that. Like Eiley got that in Yosemite when she completed her little, wilderness explorer book there. I feel like something like that would be good too. But I like your idea about, yeah, making it plant themed or like growth themed. That could be really cool. I'm sure Blake would love an ant farm. That sounds like a terrible idea for our house though.
The 2026 EPCOT International Flower and Garden Festival runs from March 4th through June 1st and includes a wide range of experiences from gardens and topiaries to concerts, exhibits, scavenger hunts, and merchandise. While most offerings are included with EPCOT admission, some special events require additional reservations and fees.
So live music has become one of the defining entertainment offerings of the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival, but it wasn't always part of the event. While the festival itself debuted in 1994, the concert component was introduced later in the early 2000s as the Flower Power concert series. Originally, Flower Power focused heavily on music from the 1960s and 70s, creating a nostalgic atmosphere that paired perfectly with Epcot's springtime setting. By the early years, particularly 2002 through 2004, the series had already become a major draw. Performances took place daily at the America Gardens Theater with multiple showtimes each evening. The 2002 lineup alone showcased just how significant the series had become. It featured legendary acts like Davy Jones, Gary Lewis and the Playboys, the Turtles, Paul Revere and the Raiders, Starship, and Survivor. Collectively, performers in that year's lineup were responsible for more than 130 top 40 Billboard Top 40 hits, including 13 number one songs like the iconic I'm a Believer, Sugar Sugar, Eye of the Tiger. Those highlighted the era-spanning appeal of the series. Throughout the years, Flower Power became known for its consistent roster of classic and legacy performers. Artists such as Herman's Hermits and The Guess Who returned frequently, helping establish the concert series as a nostalgic staple of the festival.
Major evolution came in 2015 when Disney rebranded the Flower Power concert series as the Garden Rocks concert series. This shift marked a turning point, expanding the musical focus beyond classic hits to include a wider range of genres and more contemporary artists. That same year also aligned with broader changes across the festival, including the addition of more character topiaries and new entertainment offerings. In the years that followed, Garden Rocks continued to grow in both scale and popularity. By 2019, the concert series expanded to 7 days a week.
Wow.
Which I believe it was just Friday, Saturday, and Sunday back in the day when we went.
Yeah.
The lineup now blends nostalgia with modern appeal, bringing in performers like Rick Springfield, Smash Mouth, Air Supply, Mall of Love, 38 Special, Blue October, and Simple Plan. Today, the Garden Rocks concert series remains the centerpiece of the festival's entertainment lineup. Performances are included with Epcot admission and are typically held 3 times nightly at the American Gardens Theater. Guests can also opt for Garden Rocks dining packages, which pair a meal at a participating Epcot restaurant with guaranteed concert seating.
From its roots as a nostalgic celebration of classic hits to its current status as diverse, high-energy concert series, the evolution from Flower Power to Garden Rocks reflects the overall growth of the Flower and Garden Festival itself, continually adapting while still honoring the music that made it a fan favorite. In order to make your life easier, as mentioned before, you can also use a dining package reservation for a seat at the concert, one per person who pays for a meal. And the list of restaurants is pretty expansive this year. When I looked at this list, the restaurants that were included are Coral Reef, Garden Grill for both breakfast or lunch/dinner, La Crêperie and de Paris, La Hacienda de San Angel, Le Cellier Steakhouse, Nine Dragons, Regal Eagle, which is only for same-day packages because that's a quick service, Rose and Crown, Shiki Sai Sushi, Izakaya, Spice Road Table, Tepanito, Tutto Italia, and Via Napoli Ristorante. If you have the dining plan, you can also use a credit for these restaurants, except for Regal Eagle. So you can kind of do a 2-for-1 if you have that purchased already. What comes with this dining package meal is an entree and dessert or one full buffet where applicable, as well as non-alcoholic beverage, or if you want to add an alcoholic beverage for guests 21 and older. And at Spice Road Table, it's 2 small plates, a shared tagging, and a shared dessert platter, as well as a non-alcoholic beverage or, again, alcoholic beverage for 21 and older. So, Dad and Doreen, have you guys ever done the dining package before?
No, back when we went, and this is back, let's say from 2000 to about 2017, right before we got our Greyhounds, we never needed to. We could go to all 3 shows and a lot of those and just get in the line a little early and get great seats. I don't remember ever having, they didn't have dining packages back then, but you didn't need them. Now I know it's so popular. It's kind of like the Candlelight Processional. You almost, if you really want to see an artist or get a great seat, you'd probably have to do a dining package now.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like would you do a dining package now if you went and there was someone you want to see, or would you stand in line?
Well, if you're standing in line, you might be standing in the back behind everybody, and you can listen back there and hear them and everything, if that works for you. But I think I would, if it's somebody we really wanted to see, if something my wonderful bride here would really want to see, get the dining package and do it right and get good seats and enjoy the show.
Yeah, especially since Garden Grill is an option for the dining package. That's
right.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've done this for Fantasmic over at Disneyland, the dining package thing. And to me, it was way worth it to not have to get there crazy early for a seat. The line, the weekend we were there at EPCOT for the ABBA show. And I mean, I don't know anything about ABBA these days. Are they still all alive, or is it like a tribute?
They're all alive, but they're clearly not singing. This has got to be some sort of copycat group. It's not.
Okay.
ABBA's not there. I can't imagine. I don't want to misspoke. I'm just thinking, I don't think any of them are really singing anymore, doing their thing. Maybe the men were doing some productions and things. Maybe they're writing some music, but ABBA was a long time ago, back in the 70s. So, I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong. If they're there, maybe that's why the line was. I can't imagine, but we'll have to do some research on that.
Yeah, I didn't get the chance to look it up before, but I was like, the line was so long. It was backed up way to Germany. And so I was like, oh my gosh, all this for them? Like, it really surprised me. But if it was actually them, sure. But in my head, I'm like, there's no way it's them. That can't be right. So, or maybe they were there as like an appearance while these other people, I don't know. But it was definitely packed.
Well, you got a news flash here. We did a little quick research. Oh. And they're saying none of the original 4 members are there. So maybe those people were thinking, oh, ABBA's here. And then they get up there and go, this is not ABBA, even though it might sound like them or maybe kind of look like them.
It's actually the music of ABBA. And it's also known as the arrival from Sweden. So
okay, so it's a
sound-alike
group from Sweden, tribute band.
Tribute band. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I'd be interested to know. Or maybe people are just like, they know the music and they love it. So
they were so popular. I mean, they were, let's face it, it was when we were in high school pretty much. Yeah. They were huge. I mean, huge.
Yeah. And
Sweden. So
okay. My generation knows them from like Mamma Mia. I feel like that's what people know it from.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, they were there the first weekend when I was there. And then they also had Simple Plan, Blue October, Billy Ocean, the Electric Light Orchestra, Herman's Hermits, 38 Special, Chubby Checker, Sugar Ray, Information Society, which was new this year, Rick Springfield, Berlin, the Commodores, Firehouse, which was new, Air Supply. And then as this episode is airing, we're recording it a little bit ahead of time, but still to come is A Flock of Seagulls, which sing the unfortunate song I always get on Guardians, I Ran. Plain White Tees, Katrina and the Waves, which is new this year. 98 Degrees, which is hilarious to me. The Spinners, Josiah Queen, which is new. I Am Tongi, which is new. AJ Croce. Queenshire? How do you say that?
Croce.
Oh, okay. I would never have known how to say that.
Jim Croce's son, who sang a lot of big songs in the early 70s.
Who's the one after that? Queenshire? How do you say it?
Queensryche.
Queensryche. Oh, boy.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
Yeah, okay. Maverick City Music is the last group, and We the Kingdom had been announced and then was removed. Disney Food Blog had posted something about them like double booking them, and I don't know if that's true, but I mean, I can't believe Disney would make some big mistake like that. So I'm not sure what happened there, but Maverick City Music is closing it out. So yeah.
And music acts my wife and I have seen over the years, and some have performed at the Flower and Garden Festival in the spring, and some performed at the Food and Wine Festival in the fall. We have seen some tribute bands. We saw some of those in the Sounds Like Summer series back in the day that were pretty good. But I'll just list some of the people that we did see, and some of these we saw together, Doreen and I, and some of these, Olivia, we saw with you back in the day, way back in the day. Davy Jones, he was of the Monkees, and that was a big show back in the 60s that I grew up with. My wife and I grew up with them. Unfortunately, he passed away, R.I.P. Davy Jones, on February 29th of 2012, so a long time ago, but his concerts were great. Mickey Dolenz, another Monkey, he's still with us. The orchestra, members of Electric Light Orchestra, big band in the 70s, again, in our our high school years. And they're members of that band. It's not the whole band. David Cassidy from the Partridge Family show. Doreen saw him when you were what, 13. Like 13 years old. Concert. So that, way back when he was kind of still in the show and everything. And then we saw him again as an older man. He's probably in his late 50s when we saw him, and that was fun. I've never seen David Cassidy. Unfortunately, he passed away 2017, not long after that show. He was 67 years old, so he was only a year older than I am, and that's just kind of sad, obviously. Chuck Negron from Three Dog Night, he passed away just a couple months ago. He's 84 years old, but what a voice that man had. Peter Noon, Herman's Hermits, was only 16 years old when he had his first #1 hit. He's from England. He's still singing all the time there at EPCOT. Night Ranger, Alan Parsons Project, Paul Revere and the Raiders, the Guess Who, Three Dog Night. I always call it Two Dog Night because there's only Danny Hutton and Corey Wells. Chuck Negron up there at the top was part of that group. They kind of kicked him out back in the day. The Grassroots, Survivor, Eye of the Tiger fame, Gary Puckett in the Union Gap, Ron Dante, Sugar Sugar, Starship. They had a lot of different hits, and Big Bad Voodoo Daddy.
Okay, so who was your favorite of these acts? Both of you can answer, or maybe give your top 3.
Okay, she's going to give her top 3.
My favorite was Alan Parsons Project, hands down, because he didn't play live very much at all. In fact, I'm going to say, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I bet that when he started to maybe come out and do some concerts, the EPCOT show was one of the first ones because it's relatively small.
Yes.
He's just he's an exquisite writer. He's just a producer, tech guy. He produced a lot of pivotal things, I guess you'd say, or pivotal technology, and just a lot of things on the Dark Side of the Moon album for Pink Floyd. He's not mentioned on that album, but anybody that knows anything about Pink Floyd and that Dark Side of the Moon, which is a quintessential 20th century album, right? He had a lot to do with that. So, and he also had his own hits. So that was really neat to see him because not many people have seen him. The second one, I would say, it might be a tie, but Big Bad Voodoo Daddy is a really great band, and that played at night, and that was just a neat group. And the other one would be Chuck Negron from Three Dog Night. I would definitely say, Electric Light Orchestra, maybe some others like the Guess Who, but there are very few original members, and they just weren't enough of a full group for me. So those are my 3.
And my 3, my #1 was Chuck Negron from Three Dog Night. I grew up with his music. My sister Tammy had all the Three Dog Night albums, so to be able to see him, and he still sounded great. He was already in his late 70s, and he still sounded like he was 25 years old. It was amazing. His voice is phenomenal. Some people know Joy to the World. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. It starts out. That's Three Dog Night. That's one of their big hits. Alan Parsons Project was amazing, and seeing Davy Jones growing up with the Monkees. He had a little stint on Brady Bunch. He was in love with Marsha. Well, that's what Marsha thought anyway, right? Seeing Davy Jones, saw Davy Jones multiple times, but it was just a fun show. So those are my top 3.
Okay, yeah. And Three Dog Night's One is the Loneliest Number, right? That's like the number one.
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do, yes.
That's like the first song I always think of when I think of them. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Was there anyone who was super disappointing that you're like, oh, this was not great?
I don't know that they were super disappointing, but if you don't have Burton Cummings, you don't have the Guess Who. I guess I'm a music snob. And you don't have ELO if you don't have Jeff Lynne. So,
True.
Did they sound good? Yes. But
not the same.
Was it? Yeah.
And you don't have Three Dog Night if you don't have Chuck Negron, even though those other vocalists were very good.
True. But
Danny Hutton and Corey Wells are good, but Chuck Negron was really, I felt, the voice of Three Dog Night. Once you say him, there's a lot of the hits. So
yeah. For Maddie and I, it'd be like seeing Blink-182 without Tom. It's just not the same when he wasn't there with them for a while. But cool. What's the best concert you've ever been to outside of Disney?
Well, I was quite the concert goer. So and that's another thing is I've seen a number of these groups, various places in prior years. And I had seen them, as a complete band. So it would be disappointing if they weren't. But Bruce Springsteen, I saw a number of times, and he just does a great concert. Pink Floyd, Paul McCartney, Simon and Garfunkel, and these were really bands that were essentially before my time. But I listened to music very, very early on. I had albums since I was a kid, like 5 years old and up. U2 was wonderful, and Journey.
Journey.
Yeah,
Oh,
those were
yeah.
great. You know, so
With
many.
Steve Perry, the
Rush.
real Journey.
I'd say Led Zeppelin, but I only saw him for 15 minutes because that was the quintessential show that that they walked out of because it rained mildly in Tampa, Florida.
Then the riot
Kind of a
ensued.
historical moment, and that was the end of Led Zeppelin as well. It's not too long after. So
My top ones are U2. We saw U2 at the Tampa Stadium here. It was just 70,000 people doing their Joshua Tree album, was it?
Yep.
The whole album, all those songs from it was amazing. The Eagles, we saw the whole band as it was back in the day before one of their members, Glenn Fry, passed away not long after that, right? We saw them here in Tampa. And my wife took me to my first and only Kiss concert.
Oh, yeah.
I loved Kiss when I was 15, 1975, and it took me all those years to get back there to actually see them. And we both really enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. So we had a good time at the Kiss concert. So those are my top three.
Okay, fun. So who would be your ultimate band or artist to see at EPCOT in this concert lineup?
I said the Commodores because I loved funky soul music growing up. So the Commodores, if that's close to the original band, I don't think Lionel Richie will be there, but yeah, I would go with the Commodores.
I think for me, a lot of those other groups are, I'd say 70s and earlier. So I'm wondering, how that's going to work out. If they're even, if they're a full, complete band. So, and a number of the other ones I've seen. So Josiah Queen, he's a Tampa kid. So that's kind of neat. I think he had if I'm not mistaken, he kind of had a homegrown little thing on, I don't know if was it TikTok? Was it, Facebook? I don't know, but No More Dusty Bibles, song just kind of, hit the air. It just took off virally. And so I think that's kind of neat because that's even hard to do in Christian music. And Maverick City Music, I don't think it's the original lineup. I think that's disbanded, but still, those are two Christian groups that, so it's neat to have that there because I don't remember Christian music being there. So I
Night of Joy. That's about the only thing we saw. Christian was Skillet and all that was awesome. But yeah.
Oh yeah, Regan and Skillet, man, that was his jam back in the day. Okay, fun. Well, yeah, listeners, share who's your top pick from this year's lineup that you would want to see, and that would be fun to hear. This was so fun to get to walk down memory lane and kind of hear all about these amazing artists that you guys have seen at EPCOT. And I'm so glad they've kept this concert series around, even if it's not quite the same intent as the original Flower Power theme. But our Would You Rather this week will be, would you rather get to complete the Garden Graze challenge, but instead of the lame Dole Whip prize, you get a lightning lane for any ride of your choosing, or do a dining package meal at Garden Grill that gives you front row seats for the concert of your choosing? I think I know your answer, but tell me what you pick.
I would go with the dining package to get the good seats at a concert, the Garden Grill, or a place where my wife would like to go. Maybe it's the Italian restaurant or whatever she'd like to do. It's fine with me, but that's what I would do.
Yeah, the dining package at the Garden Grill. The Garden Grill was really great. I know you took us there, and it was really, really good food. So
yes,
that would be
that food.
And no waiting, so that would be good.
Yes, yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I think the Garden Graze, when I was looking and adding it all up, I'm like, it probably is the same as eating at Garden Grill. Honestly, it's expensive.
That's a deal. Then.
Yeah. Okay. So before we end today, whenever we have a guest, we like to ask them some rapid fire questions. And this just reminded me, I did not do this with Stephen and Marissa a couple weeks ago. So sorry guys about that. But Doreen, here we go with the question. So what is your favorite park?
Oh, Magic Kingdom, hands down.
Okay. And what's your favorite ride there?
Haunted Mansion.
That's
really?
my girl.
Okay. Favorite ride at Hollywood Studios?
The Star Wars Rise of the Resistance.
Oh yeah, it's so cool. Favorite ride at EPCOT?
This one was a little tough, but I'd say Ratatouille.
Okay, cute. Yes, that's a good one. Favorite ride at Animal Kingdom?
The Safari.
Yeah, that's my favorite too. Overall favorite ride, if you had to pick out of the 4 parks, is it Haunted Mansion?
Yeah, it's Haunted Mansion.
Bring it. Haunted Mansion.
Okay, yeah. So what is your favorite nighttime show that you've seen? And it can be one that doesn't exist anymore, but what's your favorite Disney nighttime show?
Oh, well, if it's okay to have one that doesn't exist, it would be the fireworks then at Not So Scary Halloween, but I don't know if that counts. But other than that, be Fantasmic. I mean,
Okay.
that's a great one.
Yeah, nightly show. Yeah,
That's a nightly show.
and we're going to Phantasmic. We just went with you and Blake.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It's just so
And
good.
what she's right. The fireworks for a nighttime show, the fireworks Halloween show,
Oh,
is pretty amazing when
So
they do
good.
the 180 around the park. It's over the top. So yeah, I agree with it.
It is. It's so good. Okay, favorite sit down show across the parks.
oh, Beauty and the Beast. Too
Oh,
many
yeah.
good memories there. Too many little tears.
A tale
Yeah.
as old as time. Yes.
So good. Favorite snack.
The Mickey ice cream bars. I call them Mickey ears.
Yes. So good. My favorite too. Favorite restaurant.
It's the food, but it's also memories. So sometimes that just I can't separate one from the other. But Liberty Tree Taverns.
Oh man,
Bring it,
influence.
yes.
You've been influenced.
Yeah, influence. Yeah, that was good.
Favorite hotel.
I'd say the Dolphin. But I haven't stayed in.
We haven't stayed in a lot of the Disney hotels over the years. A lot of times we were camping at Fort Wilderness.
Yeah.
And we went off property quite a bit, but the Dolphin and Swan, as you like those a lot, Libya, too. Those are really nice. So I think that probably work. Even though I'd still like to stay at the Polynesian sometime.
That would be
I think that would be fun for my wife and I to do. Put out the dough and have a go. Right? It should be fun.
Put out that dough, that's for sure. But it is really beautiful. It's really cool. I know you guys like to stop there, even though not staying there. That's fun.
Oh, yes. Yes.
What about your favorite character?
There's something pretty special about Winnie the Pooh, and they kind of come all out together. So Winnie the Pooh and Tigger too.
Yeah.
That's just stories I read to my kids from the A.A. Milne books, and I just love Winnie the Pooh. So
Yeah, he's a good one. Okay, so what's the number one ride or show that you miss and wish they would bring back? One that's no longer.
I guess 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I remember that at Disneyland, and I thought that was really neat. And then I know they had it here, and then I don't know why they took it out. What did they
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and the whole area there. They just kind of, and Olivia can talk about the submarine ride. She's not a big fan of it, right? Because you're a little claustrophobic, right? And
okay.
I think I would like it better if it was 20,000 Leagues. I think they redid it at Disneyland to become Nemo, and it just is. It's kind of like the thing at EPCOT when you're going into the aquarium and it's like these little projections. Like it's like at least with 20,000 Leagues, they had the people as the mermaids and they had, it was, I don't know. It seemed a little cooler themed as that, but I don't know. And that's what I was trying to remember too, Dad. Did we ever go on that at Magic Kingdom, or am I like,
I don't think we ever got on that. And not long after it closed, and it was just a big, big pool, right? There's a meet and greet there for the Little Mermaid meet and greet. Remember, you guys went to, and you just walk by and go. A lot of people are like, "Well, what was there?" And that's where the submarine was. And then about maybe 7 or 8 years later, they started tearing that apart and putting in the other, expansion of Fantasyland. So.
Yep. Yeah. And I think now I'm trying to remember if when they first closed it up before they expanded Fantasyland, if that's where the Pooh playground was when like Makayla was really little. I'm trying to remember if that was.
That could have very well been. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that could very well. Now that I think about that. Yeah.
But I do remember. The Ariel meet and greet was Regan's favorite spot. So he always had to meet some Ariel.
Yeah, I'd like to go see Ariel. Yeah.
He loved her. So
we go little squirrel.
We go on all the roller coasters, and him and Mom would be meeting Ariel for the 10th time that year, and we'd be going to Big Thunder and space and all that.
Right.
Yeah, so fun. Okay, good. Perfect. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Doreen. This was such a fun episode and fun to kind of talk about all your Disney history and obviously joining this crazy Disney family.
Well, thanks for having me. It's fun.
Well, thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to give us a follow on Instagram at Soarin Around WDW Pod, where we share fun reels, throwback photos, and dive into weekly polls and debates. If you're listening on Spotify, be sure to follow and hit that 5-star button. If you are over on YouTube, subscribe and leave us a comment as well. If you're listening on Apple, a 5-star rating and a written review would mean the world. You can also now support the show through our Patreon at patreon.com/Soarin Around WDW podcast by becoming a free or paid member and finding exclusive content and bonus episodes and videos there too. Thanks again for joining us. Catch you on the next flight.